If you are a member of the plant-based community, or if you are interested in becoming one, I'm sure you've heard the saying before, you can eat as much as you want, so long as you're eating whole plant foods. You can do that and maintain your weight and even lose weight. But is that actually true? In today's video, we're gonna be doing a deep dive and you are going to be getting the answer to that question. Can you actually eat as much as you want on a whole foods plant-based diet? Hello my honeys, it's Emmie. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Emmie. I'm a nutritionist and the creator of the Slim on Starch program, where you work with me as well as a mindset coach and a nutrition coach to lose weight on a plant-based diet. If you want to work with me and my team, go to healthyemmie.org or just click the link in the down bar. As a friendly disclaimer, I am not tossing any shade to my plant-based homies. We are all on the same team here. Instead, I'm taking the responsibility of clarifying the phrase that we often hear in this community, which is you can eat as much as you want. I'm here to help, not to hurt, harm, or fight anybody else that is on my team in the plant-based community. So where did this idea come from in the first place? Well, I know when I first got into the plant-based community, I heard it all the freaking time. It was like all people would talk about. They weren't even talking about the food. They were just talking about the fact that you could eat as much of it as you wanted. So it begs the question, why were they saying it? Where did that idea come from? On the screen now, you're looking at a forks over knives graphic of some different stomachs here. And as you can see, when you're eating whole plant foods, because the foods are so calorically dilute, you can eat a larger quantity of them than you would a standard American diet type of food. The food is low in calories and high in volume, meaning if you eat a larger volume, the amount of calories is still going to be the same as food on the standard American diet when you're eating a smaller volume of it. It's more calorically dilute, meaning larger volume, lower calorie. Standard American foods, your meats, your cheeses, your processed foods, are lower volume, higher calorie, which means if you have two plates in front of you taking up the same volume, one of them is standard American diet and one of them is exclusively whole plant foods. The one that is the whole plant foods is going to be lower in calories if they're both the same volume. So what does this mean? For somebody that doesn't know anything about calories, that's eating that standard American diet plate, if you do a little switcheroo and now they're eating whole plant foods, they're naturally going to be eating less calories than they were before eating the same volume of food. And if you're eating less calories, you're going to lose weight. The important thing to note here is that in neither of these circumstances are people counting calories or stuffing themselves to the brim or denying their hunger and fullness cues. They're eating when they felt that they were hungry, they filled up with their stomach with what they thought that they needed, and then they moved on. On a standard American diet versus on a whole foods plant-based diet, they're eating the same volume in both circumstances, but on the whole foods plant-based diet, the amount of calories is lower, and so they lose weight. This is coupled with the fact that most of the people that are eating a standard American diet to satiety are overweight, and tripled with the fact that most of the people that these doctors work with that put people on a whole foods plant-based diet are in the overweight or obese category and have many health problems due to the fact that they are obese. So when you take this category of people and you put them on this new diet that is so low in calories, and they're used to eating smaller portions of high calorie food, they don't realize that they're eating the same volume of food as they were before, but that it's lower in calories, and so their weight loss is very quick and very dramatic. And they say, oh my goodness, I can still fill up my plate. Whereas all the diets that I did in the past, I had to eat teeny tiny portions. On this lifestyle, I'm eating the same quantity as I was before. And it's quadrupled with the fact that most dieting approaches give you a strict calorie count. But on this lifestyle, when you replace your volume with more calorically dilute foods, you don't need to count calories because it's just naturally lower in calories. So when most people go on a diet, they say, how many calories am I supposed to eat? How many calories am I supposed to eat? How many calories am I supposed to eat? And for the doctors that prescribe this lifestyle, they say, oh, well, on this lifestyle, you actually don't have to count calories. They're just answering that question sort of as an afterthought because it it works so well with the sheer replacement of what you're eating. If you do that properly, if you can replace the volume of food that you used to eat with this new calorically dilute food and you keep the same volume, then you don't have to think about counting calories. The whole counting calories volume portion of it is not at the forefront. It's not what they come out with. They don't say, hey, don't count calories and fill up your plate like it's Thanksgiving. They say, just replace what you're eating with these whole plant foods and the rest of it works itself out. When they say you can eat as much as you want, they're not saying eat until you feel uncomfortably full. That is not natural human behavior. We are not going to stuff ourselves at every single meal. Animals in nature do not do that. If you look at kids that have never gone on a diet before, they're not doing that either because it's not comfortable. When we feel physically overfull, we don't like that feeling. So why would we purposefully make our bodies feel uncomfortable? With this in mind, doctors don't say, eat as much as you want until your stomach is about to pop, because who would want to do that unless they've been on a calorie restricted diet? Which is where the problem comes in. For most people that go on this lifestyle, the eat as much as you want thing is no problem. Why? Because they listen to their body's hunger fullness cues, they're not starving themselves, which leads to overeating, and they're not purposefully overeating because finally they can eat, which I'm gonna talk about a little bit later. But for most people that go on this lifestyle, the way that it was designed, which is to replace the volume of food that you were eating before with more calorically dilute foods, and they have no problem. But there's a little pocket within the plant-based community of the ex-dieters, the people that have been starved by calorie counting for so long, controlling their volume of food, eating teeny tiny portions, that they come to this lifestyle, they hear the doctor say, you can eat as much as you want, and they say, finally, and the floodgates open. Imagine that you've been walking in the desert for days without water, and then you come to a water stand that has free water. You are going to chug that water like there's no tomorrow. This is how people feel when they come to the plant-based lifestyle. They see all of these people losing weight, and then they hear a doctor say, oh, on this lifestyle, you don't have to count calories and you can eat large volumes of food. Can you imagine? It's like walking in the desert and then having somebody come up to you and say, here's a canteen with unlimited water. That person's gonna go to town on that water because they are so thirsty. For the starved dieter, they've been dieting their whole life. They come to this lifestyle, they hear somebody in a white coat say, you can eat as much as you want, and they say, finally, I have found the Mecca. This leads to overeating on whole plant foods. Hey, very quickly, if you were enjoying this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really supports my channel. If I had $1 for every time I heard from a new client, we're meeting for the first time, and they say, Emmie, this is so embarrassing, but I will stuff myself on whole plant foods. Honey, I'd be hiring a private investor and saving for retirement. That's for you, Dad. So no, you are not a freak if you are overeating on whole plant foods. It is simply a reaction to the fact that you've been starving for all this time. Even if you're overweight, no matter what body you are in, if you have behaviorally been restricting food for a period of time, you've ignited that famine response in your brain, and after the famine always comes the feast. If somebody is reporting to me that they have disordered eating behaviors, I don't care what their body looks like, if they are underweight, or if they are overweight, or if they are at a normal weight. I want to address the fact that they are engaging in behaviors that are destructive to them. So don't you dare say to me, well, Emmie, I can't actually be starving myself if I'm overweight or obese. Of course you can. If your behaviors are representative of that and it's affecting your life negatively, honey, let's take care of it. You are totally qualified. I don't care what body you're in if you're listening to this video. If this applies to you, keep listening. So here's what's going on. You've been doing some sort of restrictive starvation diet for a very long time. You hear somebody in a white coat say, oh, you can eat as much as you want, and then you begin eating way more than you would because you've been dieting that whole time. Whereas many people that come to this lifestyle, and the people that you are likely comparing yourself to, which you should never do because comparison is the thief of joy. These people, they're not having this post-starvation hyperphagia, which is the overeating that occurs after a famine. It's a famine response. These people are saying, oh cool, this is awesome. Look at this nice plate of food. This is the same amount of food as I ate before, so I don't feel like I'm starving myself, but I'm also losing weight. And I didn't have to count calories. The whole I didn't have to count calories thing is the afterthought. And then what tends to happen is that these people aren't experiencing the weight loss that they anticipated. And they say, I don't understand why. I'm eating perfectly. I'm eating 100% whole plant foods. And if I'm eating 100% whole plant foods, then I should be losing weight. Everybody else is. But it doesn't matter what the substance is. If you are stuffing yourself past the point of satiety, then you're not going to be successful with weight loss. You have to pay attention to your hunger fullness cues. Plant-based foods do not contain magical calories that don't count. They absolutely count. I mean, you could lose a diet on Twinkies if you wanted to. I didn't say that right. You could lose weight on a diet of Twinkies if you wanted to, if all you ate was one Twinkie a day. Just like you're not going to lose weight if you're eating 4,000 calories of whole plant foods, because it's way more than what your body needs. Now, I am in no way saying that you should count calories or restrict or starve yourself. What I'm saying is that you should listen to your body's hunger fullness cues. When you're hungry, begin eating. When hunger is no longer there, stop eating. Don't eat past the point of fullness just because you feel like you have this card to do so, because you hear people say you can eat as much as you want on this lifestyle. This is why in my program and with my clients, I dedicate an entire module to hunger fullness cues, because I find this to be such a problem within the plant-based community. It's a lot of ex-dieters who are so attracted to the idea that you can eat as much as you want that they eat past the point of fullness. And I'm going to say again, I'm not saying to restrict your portions or starve yourself. I'm saying to eat until you feel satiety and then put the food away, or serve yourself less if it's hard for you to put the food away, and know that you can always go back and get more if you need more. But you must listen to what your body is telling you. Do not count calories, do not weigh and measure, but listen to what nature gave us, which is hunger and fullness cues. If you really struggle with this, I highly recommend that you reach out to me by clicking the link in the down bar so that you can work with me, a nutrition coach and a mindset coach, and the three of us can help you with this. There is help for this issue. You are not alone, and it doesn't matter what body you're in. The bottom line is don't abuse the system. And also, we are given hunger fullness cues for a reason. Change what you're eating. Don't worry about the quantity. Listen to your body's hunger fullness cues, and your body will take care of the rest. Hey, very quickly, if you are enjoying this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really supports my channel. If you are still watching, then comment the word clarity. I've been loving the word clarity lately. It's really been resonating with me, and I hope that I gave you clarity on this. And if I didn't, comment and let me know what you're still wondering about so that I can make a video to address it. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next one.